Welcome back to the channel. We are continuing our Oracle DBA journey, and today we are officially getting into backup and recovery. And we are starting with a very important concept: archive log versus no archive mode. Now, this might sound like a simple database settings, but it has a major impact on how recoverable your database is. It affects the backup you can perform, the recovery option available to you, and ultimately, how well you can protect your data. Before we jump into RMAN, point-in-time recovery, or data guard, we need to understand this foundation first. Let's get into it. Before we can understand archive log mode, we need to understand redo logs. Whenever a change is made to an Oracle database, redo information is generated. The redo first goes into the redo buffer. The log writer writes the redo information into the online redo logs. Eventually, the current redo log becomes full, and Oracle performs what we call a log switch. And now we'll get into the important question. What happens to the old redo log? Does Oracle keep it? Does it override it? Or can we preserve it for future recovery? That is exactly where archive log and no archive log come into the picture. So what exactly happens when Oracle is running in archive mode? When an online redo log becomes full and Oracle switches to another redo log, the filled redo log can be archived before it is reused. That means Oracle preserves that redo information separately as an archive redo log, and this is extremely important for recovery. Instead of only having the current active online redo logs, we can maintain a history of database changes through those archive logs. And when we combine those archive logs with our backups, we get much more powerful recovery option. So the big idea here is simple. Archive log mode, preserve redo history for recovery. Let's make this even easier to visualize. Imagine Oracle is currently writing to redo log group 1. Eventually, the redo log becomes full. Oracle performs a log switch. Now, another redo log group becomes the current log, and Oracle starts using it. In archive log mode, that previously filled redo log can be archived before it is eventually reused. So we can now have a copy of that redo information preserved as an archive redo log. And that's important because it gives Oracle access to redo beyond the current active online redo logs. This is one of the key reasons archive log mode provides more greater recovery flexibility. Now, why would we want archive log mode? There are several important benefits. One of the biggest is point-in-time recovery. It also supports online backups, allowing backups to be performed while the database remains open. Archive log mode always provides greater recovery flexibility and support technologies such as Oracle Data Guard. So when you are dealing with an environment where data protection and recovery are important, archive log mode becomes extremely valuable. And this is why it is such an important concept to understand before we move into technologies like RMAN and Data Guard. Now let's look at the other side, no archive log mode. In this mode, Oracle does not archive filled online redo logs. After a log switch, those redo logs can eventually be reused. And once the relevant information has been overwritten, that history redo is no longer available for recovery. Because of this, the recovery options are much more limited compared with archive log mode. No archive log can still be suitable for environments such as development, testing, or training, especially when database can easily be recreated. But when recovery requirements becomes more demanding, the limitation becomes more important. Now let's put the two modes side by side. With archive log mode, redo is archived. With no archive log, redo is reused. Archive log supports online backups, while no archive log typically relies on offline backups. Archive log gives us point-in-time recovery and much more greater recovery flexibility. No archive log provides more limited recovery. So there is also a trade-off. Archive log requires more storage and management because we retain archive redo. No archive log is simple to manage, but it comes with greater recovery limitation. So the question isn't simply which one is better. The real question is, what does the database need in terms of recovery and data protection? Let's make this practical with a simple scenario. Imagine we take our last database backup at 1 p.m. Everything is working normally, but at 3 p.m. the database fails. Now what happens? With archive log mode, assuming the required archived and online redo are available, Oracle can use that redo to recover changes made after the backup. That gives us the possibility of recovering much closer to the point where the failure occurred. But with no archive log mode, our recovery options are much more limited because the redo from the completed log switch isn't preserved as archive logged. So this simple 2-hour scenario shows us why preserving redo history can make such a huge difference during recovery. Now let's say you are working as a DBA and you want to know, is the database running in archive log mode? or no archive log mode. We don't need to guess. Oracle provides this information through the VDollar database dynamic performance view. We simply check the log mode column, and the query is select log mode from VDollar database. The result will tell us whether the database is running in archive log mode or no archive log mode. Very simple, but very useful information to know as a DBA. Now, what if our database is currently running in no archive mode and we want to enable archive log mode? This isn't something we simply change while the database continues running normally. It requires planned downtime. First, we shut down the database. Then we start it in mount mode. Next, we enable archive log mode. Then we open the database. And finally, we verify the configuration. In a production environment, this needs to be properly planned because the database will be available during the process. And after enabling it, we also need to think about our backup and archive management. Now, there's something very important we need to remember. Archive log mode gives us much better recovery option. But those archive redo logs need storage. As archive log accumulates, they consume disk space. And if the archive destination eventually becomes full, database operation can be affected. So enabling archive log is not the end of the story. As DBAs, we need to monitor archive log space. We need appropriate retention policy. We need to back up archive logs where required. And we need to make sure logs are safely purged according to our recovery requirements. So remember, better recovery also means better archive management. Now we are starting to see how archive log fits into the bigger Oracle recovery picture. Archive log is not an isolated feature. It becomes an important foundation for technologies we are going to discuss as we continue this backup and recovery journey. Think about the progress. Archive log, RMAN, point-in-time recovery, data guard. Once you understand archive redo log, this technology becomes much easier to understand. So if you are building your Oracle DBA knowledge, this is an important foundation to get right. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Let's quickly recap. Archive log preserve redo history. That preserve redo history gives us much greater recovery flexibility. No archive log have more limited recovery option because field redo logs aren't preserved as archive log. For production environments where data protection is important, archive log is generally the preferred mode. But remember, enabling archive log isn't enough. We also need to monitor archive space, manage retention, backup archive logs, and make sure our recovery strategy is properly managed. This is just the beginning of our backup and recovery journey. Next, we will continue building on this foundation and get deeper into Oracle recovery technology. If you found this lesson useful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone learning Oracle DBA. And as always, let me know in the comments what Oracle DBA topic you would like me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.